really, the kind of the heart and soul of what Gemalto does centers around their enterprise key manager called KeySecure. It's designed with generating keys, storing keys, controlling the life cycle of keys, and then providing granular access controls around keys. It can tie into ecosystems where people are doing encryption maybe already, such as Dell Compellent Storage or NetApp or Hitachi tape libraries, F5, Seagate self-encrypting drives. There's a lot of other third-party solution partners we work with as well, such as CipherCloud and SkyHigh, and the list goes on. But essentially, all those things that I just mentioned speak a protocol called KMIP. It's Key Management Interoperability Protocol. And it's an open OASIS protocol that was developed to allow key exchange securely between key managers and vendors that are able to perform encryption in some way. So in the example of, let's say, Dell Compellent Storage, if you have a controller that has self-encrypting drives, by way of speaking KMIP, rather than that controller generating the keys and storing the keys with the drives that contain the data, you can now generate and store those keys on the KeySecure, so that way if the data is stolen, they don't have the keys to unlock those disks. In ways of encryption that Gemalto SafeNet provides, that's everything up at the top of the screen here. So we have a tokenization solution that's designed to tokenize credit card data, numerical data, alphanumerics, and it's really designed to take your database out of scope in terms of PCI audits. Protect apps or application level encryption, where we're able to integrate into your application, whether it's written in .NET, C, C#, Java. You can stand up web service to speak SOAP or REST with a pure XML interface. But simply put, you're able to write encryption into your application so that by the way of handling certain types of data, maybe it's an upload of a PDF or sending an Excel spreadsheet from one area to another, or an insert statement into a database. You're able to encrypt that data before it comes to rest. So on the example of encryption of an insert statement into a database, that means that what's actually entered into the database is just encrypted data. So you're really separating out your DBA, and as that data traverses through the network, it's also encrypted, so it's out of scope as well. Protect file, this is our file, folder, and network share level encryption designed for Windows and Linux servers. But there's also a very wide ecosystem surrounding it as well, where you can use it to encrypt SharePoint, Exchange mailboxes, antivirus, archives, databases such as Cassandra, Mongo, Maria, SQL, Oracle. You can also use it for big data such as Hadoop. And we have an ever-growing ecosystem surrounding that as well. But simply put, you're able to encrypt, let's say, a file or a folder. You're able to define the key to be used, and then you're able to build access policies surrounding that. So, for example, in the demo, I'll show you how you can encrypt a folder. You can say by default no one has access. Your domain admin has the ability to enter into that directory. So he has what's called ciphertext backup and restore. So he can handle that data and back it up. But if he tries to read it or copy it to his workstation or run home with it on a thumb drive, it's just always encrypted. So in a disaster scenario, he can restore that data to a new server that's protected with protect file, to a directory that was encrypted with that same key, and then as soon as he restores that data, it's accessible to those who have been mapped the permission to decrypt that data. And then you can build policies upon that, either for users who just can decrypt or just can add data, so they just have the encrypt permission, or they have both, encrypt and decrypt. So to them, it's transparent. ProtectDB is our column-level encryption offering for SQL, Oracle, and DB2, where you're able to select individual columns in a database and encrypt them with the key of your choosing. We also have the ability to do format preservation, where let's say you have a 16-digit credit card number and you just want a new fake 16-digit credit card number to be created and inserted into the database, and only privileged users can actually decrypt and see the real value of that 16-digit credit card number. You can also work with other types of numeric, like social security numbers and also alphanumerics as well. But the end goal is to be able to encrypt certain columns in your database. That way, if you have the need to just up your database and deliver to a development team so they can develop new features or new applications that leverage your database, you're not privying them to sensitive information. ProtectV is our cloud virtualization offering. We're able to work with Windows and Linux servers in AWS, Azure, and VMware, and you're able to encrypt volumes underneath each of those servers. So if you have a Windows 2012 R2 server with a C drive, D drive, E drive, you can encrypt each one of those disks with their own AES 256 key. You can also enforce what's called the SafeNet Start Guard. So if those servers reboot, you can have them pause before they enter their guest OS, and you can administratively bring them back online and have those keys delivered, or you can have that happen automatically as well. This allows you then for any snapshots, any clones, any illegal exports of a VMware, let's say a VMDK or just the whole VM itself. All of that data is encrypted at rest. And if you want to destroy those VMs and destroy that data, you can just simply delete the key. And our HSEs are our physical devices, a high-speed Ethernet encryptor, where you have a box at one location and maybe a box at another location that operates over at layer 2, so that as data leaves, let's say your corporate headquarters, and is going over to maybe a corporate sister site or maybe a data center, you can have that encrypted across the wire. But all of these things here that I'm mentioning tie into our KeySecure. So you'll be able to see on a lot of these, you're managing them from the KeySecure itself and able to define, generate keys, define policies, and push the crypto. But as you can see, everything here is centered around our enterprise key manager, KeySecure.